Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking one of the most fascinating paradoxes in modern tech, WhatsApp's privacy claims. Every single time you send a heart emoji to your mom or a quick update to a friend, there's actually a hidden, incredibly complex system of digital locks and keys working right behind the scenes. Okay, let's dive into this. 100 billion. That is the number of messages traveling through WhatsApp every single day. I mean, that's a staggering volume of communication. We're talking about photos, voice notes, those quick, hey, where are you texts, literally the daily fabric of human connection all across the globe. But this brings up a pretty massive question. WhatsApp's parent company is Meta, right? A notoriously data-hungry corporation that makes almost all of its money from knowing basically everything about you. And yet, they claim total, absolute message blindness. They insist they cannot read a single one of those 100 billion messages, not even if a government showed up with a court order or some hacker broke directly into their servers. So, is that actually true, or is it just incredibly clever marketing? To find out, we really have to look at the math. Here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, the privacy paradox. Second, the digital lockbox. Third, end-to-end encryption explained. Fourth, the metadata loophole. Fifth, 4 ways messages leak. And finally, the backdoor debate. All right, starting with number 1, the privacy paradox. So why do so many of us immediately doubt WhatsApp's claims? Well, this quote really hits the nail on the head. It highlights the massive contradiction at play here. Let's not forget, this is the exact same company behind the Cambridge Analytica scandal, where millions of users' data was harvested without consent. They faced billions in fines for privacy violations. So when Meta says, hey, don't worry, we can't read your messages, it's completely natural for our brains to respond with, yeah, right. Extreme skepticism is totally justified. But to understand why their claim might actually be a mathematical reality, we kind of have to strip away the modern technology for a second and look at the ancient history of keeping secrets. Which brings us to part 2, the digital lockbox. Let's completely forget about computers for a second. Just imagine sending a secret, physical letter. You lock it in a secure box and you mail it. Now, if anyone intercepts it, like the mail carrier or a nosy neighbor, it's just a useless locked box. But here is the historical flaw. This is the unsolved problem that literally plagued generals and spies for thousands of years. How do you get the key to your friend? If you mail the key along with the box, well, whoever intercepts the mail gets the whole shebang. And if you have to meet up in person to hand over the key, that kind of defeats the entire point of sending a remote message in the first place, doesn't it? Now, what's really interesting about this is how we finally fixed it. The solution is this incredibly elegant mathematical puzzle developed back in the 1970s that absolutely changed the internet forever: public key cryptography. Instead of just one key, you create 2 mathematically linked halves. One is the public key. You can literally shout it from the rooftops. It's totally fine, because it is only used to lock the box. The other half is the private key. You never ever share it, and it is only used to unlock the box. The craziest part? Even the public key itself cannot undo the lock it just created. Okay, let's move on to part 3, end-to-end encryption explained. Let's see how this math actually builds a secure journey for your texts. When you send a WhatsApp message, it definitely doesn't go to Meta as easily readable text. Step 1, the encryption happens right there on your phone, device A. Step 2, it travels across the internet, bouncing through Meta servers in a locked, completely scrambled form. And finally, step 3, it is only unlocked once it reaches your friend's phone, device B, using their specific private key. In this system, Meta's servers act purely as a blind mail carrier. They shuffle these locked boxes around all day, but mathematically, they just do not possess the key to open them. And WhatsApp actually takes this a step further, using a system built by security researcher Moxie Marlinspike. It's called the Signal Protocol, and it features this brilliant ratchet system. Basically, this means it constantly changes the encryption keys for every single message you send. Think of a physical lock that miraculously rearranges its internal pins after every single use. Why go through all that trouble? Well, because if a hacker magically managed to steal an encryption key from a conversation you had yesterday, it would be totally, completely useless for reading the message you send today. All right, section 4, the metadata loophole. So, the crucial point is this: if the math is so incredibly airtight, why isn't our privacy absolute? Well, because while Meta cannot read the letter inside the envelope, they can absolutely see the envelope itself. This is your metadata. It's all the extra stuff: who you're talking to, how often, your rough location, your group chat memberships. And think about what this reveals. If investigators see that you called a divorce lawyer for 30 minutes, then immediately called your spouse for 2 minutes, and then called a moving company, they don't need to hear a single word of those conversations. The metadata tells the entire story all on its own. And honestly, this explains why those eerily specific ads pop up on your Instagram or Facebook. It's a huge myth that Meta reads your encrypted text to serve you ads. Like we said, mathematically, they literally can't. The real equation is much simpler. Targeted ads equal your metadata, combined with your general browsing habits, location data, and let's be real here, a lot of coincidence, because we all constantly talk about the same everyday things. Moving on to Section 5, 4 ways messages leak. Okay, so the encryption works flawlessly in transit, but where does this system actually break down in the real world? Let's quickly go through these 4 everyday loopholes. First up, unencrypted cloud backups. If you're backing up your chats to Google Drive or iCloud and you haven't manually flipped on backup encryption, those companies can totally access that data if a court legally forces them to. Second, your physical device. Remember, encryption protects the journey, not your unlocked phone. High-profile spyware like Pegasus actually attacks the phone itself, bypassing the lock by just reading the messages after they're already decrypted on your screen. Third, screenshots. A mathematical lock obviously cannot stop your friend from taking a quick screenshot and sharing it around. And fourth, expanding group chats. In a 300-person group, 300 different devices hold the decryption keys. Mathematically, the circle of trust expands, creating 300 separate points where that exact message could potentially leak. And that brings us to our final section, the backdoor debate. If this encryption is as real as we say, what happens when law enforcement genuinely needs access during a major criminal investigation? Governments have been pushing hard for laws that require a backdoor, basically a deliberately built-in weakness to bypass the encryption. But security experts and Meta themselves fiercely resist this, and the math explains exactly why. A mathematical lock simply cannot discriminate. You can't build a backdoor that only opens for the good guys. If a deliberate weakness exists in the code, it is an absolute mathematical certainty that hostile governments, hackers, or criminal organizations will eventually find it and exploit it, which puts ordinary users at massive risk. So, what does this all mean? Where does this leave us at the end of this explainer? Well, WhatsApp's end-to-end encryption is a legitimate, verified reality. Meta genuinely cannot read your one-on-one messages. But encryption does not equal total invisibility. The metadata is still very much there, your cloud backups might be totally exposed, and the human on the other end of the line, they're always a variable. The lock secures the journey for sure, but you really have to mind the endpoints. So the next time you send a quick message and see that little padlock icon pop up on your screen, I want you to ask yourself, what exactly is being protected here? And what isn't?